Prepare to be rattled again, people. I'll start with this and I'll let it run through. I did this once already and it ended up going for over an hour, and the video itself only goes 22 minutes. I'll just start off, I'll preface it with this. If you think that we have a stabbing problem in Australia, you're an idiot. If you think that we really have a machete problem in Australia, you're an idiot. We have a mental health problem. We have a media problem. We have a lack of critical thinking ability pandemic, which is systemic and endemic in itself. I'll say this much. Why do you think that the machete bins cost so much money? Because it costs a lot of money to fill them with machetes. We'll watch this and then we'll get to what the fairy ones are all about.
Is for American workers on behalf of tech companies and multinational corporations. They create a spectacle on one hand to keep people divided and distracted while faithfully executing their uniparty agenda on the other. So, breaking, federal agents in St. Paul pursued a man who fled in a vehicle and struck multiple officers. One agent fired shots in defensive response before the suspect was taken into custody.
Is that what happened?
I don't know exactly what happened. It's weird that some people just get absolutely weird about being barged in on in a military fashion and slammed to the ground. What a bunch of spoiled brats they are.
Jimmy, I'd be executed. I would never let a masked guy in an unmarked Subaru tell me shit. I would get violent.
I wouldn't either.
Killed. I would hit my gas and I wouldn't turn the wheels away. I know myself, and that's what's so upsetting about this.
Mm-hmm. Kurt, I hear you. I don't think I would ever pull over or give any quarter to a guy in an unmarked car with a mask on. I wouldn't.
If you defend masked cops, you are such an imbecile parrot. I don't even know. I don't think you can be reasoned with. So, you should have already known that was off on the start. At the start.
So what I said was, it seems clear that what ICE is doing, it's not actually about enforcing immigration law. If they wanted to do that, they would go to farms, construction sites, meatpacking facilities, hotels. They would arrest the guy who hired the illegals. They would have to do that maybe 1 or 2 times, and it would be on the news, and that would be the end of the illegal immigrants being hired here. But they don't do that because this is not about getting illegal immigrants away from taking your jobs. Why? Because the Chamber of Commerce, the people who actually run the government, the corporations and the billionaires, the oligarchs, they want them here. They want illegal immigrants working jobs here. That they want that. And so then they can have poor people fighting even poorer, more desperate people, so we don't come together to fight against the oligarchs who are screwing all of us.
Jimmy, do you see the genius of the plan, though? Because the millennials that all hated the boomers and got into identity politics because they're as stupid as their parents, you only need a few generations to go before you can rewrite everything. So the Generation Alpha are going to have no expectations. That's what the reset is. The reset is lower your expectations to eating, meat and having fuel and energy. And guess what? Generation Alpha doesn't expect shit. They don't expect healthcare. They don't expect
they don't expect
education.
to be able to buy a house. They don't expect...
We're gonna die. We're old. We're gonna die, and no one gives a fuck. And the millennials are occupied with their gender, and so it's brilliant. And meanwhile, if you notice, the people in charge live to be 108 for some fucking
That's
reason.
right.
They breed you like dogs, and they train you like dogs.
So let me get back to this. I said so because if this was really about enforcing immigration, they'd go to construction sites, meatpacking facilities, hotels, farms. They'd arrest the guy who hired all those people, and that would be the end of it. But they're not doing that. What they're doing is they're chasing people on public streets, making as big a spectacle as they can about it.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it really about? Mm-hmm. Well, distract people, including much of their own base, from the fact that they're covering up the Epstein files and covering for pedo traffickers while implementing censorship and DEI for Jewish students on college campuses. So they're going against everything they campaigned on. Is it about keeping the country divided since the left right were coming together to oppose Israel and Zionism and all the wars generated by both? Is it about setting a pretense for the expansion of the security state and getting us used to calling American citizens terrorists so the state can take away our rights and execute anyone dissenting that they deem a terrorist? I think it's all those things.
I think you nailed every single one of them, Jimmy. I would blather at people the same exact thing, but not as well.
So it's because it's not about, this isn't about, if you really wanted to get illegal immigrants out of our country who are taking away American jobs and driving down our wages, you wouldn't be in broad daylight having masked men in unmarked cars shooting American citizens.
You're taking your jobs. South Park. You're taking her jobs. No, they're not. You gave them up. You're quite happy to sit around on UBI. What's UBI? Universal Basic Income. Why do you think people on Centrelink now get the same money as people working? Know the difference between people on Centrelink and people working? People on Centrelink can minimise their cost of living by growing vegetables and stuff. Now, they're going to come up out of veggie gardens at some point, so I'd suggest that the smartest thing we can do is just run around everywhere and plant vegetables. Bury spuds all over the place. Make them a wild plant. What else are you going to do? I'll let you in on a little secret. When I'd done some apple thinning and some cherry picking, I worked at Brown's Orchards 2 seasons in a row. Now, Pokey, the supervisor, he's a choir singer in the Mormon church. They're Mormons. And what's Mormons? Say it with me now. It's a cover for Freemasonry, which is Luciferianism. Sounds nice and fluffy, doesn't it? But when you think about who's Lucifer, it's Diablo, it's Beelzebub, it's Satan, it's the devil, it's bad. And Pokey gets around with his whistle, blowing it at people and ordering people around. Why do you think they got rid of piece rate and went to hourly rate? With harvesting and picking stuff that, it had nothing to do with trying to even up the odds for wages, because now we have equity instead of equality. You're on an hourly rate doing stuff all, and the bloke in the next aisle's just smashing through the aisles on an hourly rate, and he's getting the same amount. You get paid by the piece rate for picking, but not for thinning. And if you're too slow, they just send you down the road. Now, this is where the kicker is, though. And they told me this themselves. Like, I'm blowing the shit out of everything. The Vanuatuans and the Tongans and the Pacific Islanders and so forth, right? And a select few of the backpackers that are here on working visas are contracted by their government to be here. They're contracted as a contract between governments, between our government and their government. And the farmer gets a kickback for them being there. That's why they have accommodation provided for them. They get a meal allowance. They don't have to pay the same taxes that we pay. Actually, I'll go as far as to say they don't pay any income tax because they are not a citizen of Australia. Kons is putting all these people up and he's milking it for what it's worth. He gets the government kickback for providing accommodation for them. Like I said, accommodation is provided for them. Right here in Burnie, next to the police station, down in the cul-de-sac, in that big old hotel down there. Or whatever it is, the hostel accommodation. Now, they are contracted to ensure that they get so many hours work, or more to the point, so much they have to provide them with so many hours work per year, per season, to make it worthwhile for the contract between the governments. Which is why they get a month or two's work before the jobs are advertised for the thinning and the picking, and they get a month or two's work after we're all told there's no picking left and go home. They get to find where the creme de la creme of the crop is. They get to start, so they get to choose whether they want to do the cream first or the cream last, or split it into two halves, which is what they usually do. When they call us in is when it's all the shit work, and they still get to pick what rows they want, but we don't. We're barely breaking even once we cover our costs for going there. If you're on a piece rate picking cherries, don't bother doing it. It's a waste of fucking time. But the problem is, by doing that, they just bring in more Vanuatuans and Tongans and backpackers, and next thing you know, they're making all the money. We're getting none. They're not paying any taxes. It's a transfer of wealth from one country to another. They're breaking Australia on purpose. But the farmers are doing all right, aren't they? There's farmers whinging about how much they're getting from Coles and Woolworths and so forth. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe it for a minute. Why do you think all the food's shit in the supermarkets? They're not even selling it to the supermarkets. That's the scraps. That's the shit that they used to throw out. It's all manufactured. We're not letting people into the country. The government is inviting them. The government's taken our jobs, not those people. They got a fucking terrible life. Can you blame them? They live in shit houses with dirt floors, no windows. We're sold out even with our jobs, people. We are in the way. By fighting it, we're only getting more in the way. Walking away from it, oh shit, what do we do now? That's the one thing that they haven't got a plan for. Is us waking up to ourselves and just, we're not going to play this game anymore. Because they think we're too fucking afraid to. Are ya?
Well, so here, I mean, we already know this is that. We already know this is that. Because way back when they turned off immigration at the border with no wall, they wasted your time fighting about a wall. Yeah. But it turns out you don't need a wall. You just need the government to want to do to do something.
So here's Sam Tripoli back in 2023. He was on Joe Rogan's show, friend of the show, Sam Tripoli, and he predicted.
I'm head of Turning Point Sam Tripoli, by the way.
What's that?
I'm the chairman of Turning Point Sam Tripoli.
So here he is. Listen to what he predicted in 2023.
We're in the Bolshevik War right now, bro. And right now what's coming up is all the pride stuff is going to be... Okay, so I had this woman come on my podcast. Her name's Mel K. She goes, I've been talking to some people in the intelligence, and they go, this gay pride stuff is going away. And the next thing you're going to see are immigration riots. This is going to be right around the next election. So, hand to God, we do this episode. Next day, Starbucks is like, we're banning all the pride stuff. And now you start seeing they're putting little breadcrumbs out, man. Little breadcrumbs. Oh, I saw this one thing in Chicago. Oh, yeah, illegal immigrants are upset about where they're staying. And these illegal immigrants who speak no English are holding up perfectly written English signs saying we're tired of how we're being treated. And now you're starting to see this over and over again. Eric, so everyone's always like, when all these Republican governors are like sending these immigrants all over the country, like, you're showing those Democrats. Bro, they're moving assets. I know it sounds crazy, but that is 100 what do you mean they're moving assets? What do you mean? Dude, these guys coming into the country, bro, have you seen them? A lot of them are Chinese. And a lot of them are military-age people. And I'm telling you, they're moving. And this is what's going to be right around 2024 election immigration riots, people going nuts, and as listen to this, and you'll start seeing all the little breadcrumbs. I'm telling you, that's what they want you to think.
You're buying it.
Oh, I thought I was
They're
you're the
moving
puppet.
assets, bro.
You're the puppet.
They're moving
What
assets.
do you mean, like military people?
Dude,
man.
study the Bolshevik War. It is happening in
Bolshevik
real
Revolution?
time. 100%.
But
I just wanted to get that out to everybody because I'm trying to warn people. This is what's next.
That bloke think he's silly.
It's kind of amazing.
well,
that
here's a
he-
fun fact, Jimmy. You know the rainbow flag is
He's about to tell you something spot on too. Now, that other bloke that was on the Joe Rogan show, the one that was laughing, he also goes on Steve Crowder. He's one of the Steve Crowder crew. Steve Crowder is paid opposition. He's controlled. Steve Crowder's in on it. Up to his fucking neck in it. Everything to do with Rumble is up to their neck in it. Just Tim Dwyer's in on it. Carlo Bosey's in on it. Oh, you should have seen him carry on the other day when I put Tim Dwyer on being the con artist. Selling people his homemade fucking Brock polarisers and asked him how his letter writing's going and how everyone's going with their letter writing that's fucking making them fucking lose ground, not gain any. Wow! Did that upset him? Ha! I didn't. I just laughed.
actually the Noahide flag. Did you know that?
No.
Did you know that? And that's why it ended the LGBT thing. So the rainbow was in the Bible, God's promise to Noah not to use a flood or something again. That's what that is. So Noahide law, which I only learned of being on the show, I'd never heard of that. The Sharia law of that, it comes from that. It's actually a supremacist ideology, and that's what the rainbow flag is. And if you look it up, you'll find several Zionist groups that use the rainbow. That's what it.
Yep. Now you got to remember, there's Muslims and then there's Muslims. Islam is not Sharia. Alright? I'm telling you now, traditional Islam has got nothing to do with Sharia. That's an inverted version of Islam, just like the Talmud is an inverted version of Torah. It's the inverse of it. It's upside down, it's backwards, inside out, it's everything the other way around. As above, so below. Okay? But it's not. Because as above, so below refers to two things. It refers to the waters above and the waters below, and it also refers to God above, God below. Little g, below. The rainbow flag is the rainbow road, and look at Mario Kart, the rainbow road. Right? Wario's castle. Look at Wario. He's all about war and he's all about fire, and it's like you're going to hell and you go. It's all predictive programming in your brains. I know it sounds fucking crazy, doesn't it? But they believe this shit, and that's enough. That's enough. They believe it. That's enough. You don't have to, but you better believe that they do. The Rainbow Road is the road to hell. Okay? It's windy, it's twisty, it's all over the place. Think about Rainbow Road on Mario Kart. It's exactly that, but it's up in space, it's all over the place, and you fall off it, and it's... Right? What is the road to God? Like, to the Creator, to Jesus Christ? It's straight and narrow. You don't have to navigate it. It's straight and narrow. Just don't wander from the path. The Rainbow Road's all over the place. It's a ribbon of many colours. It's with many, many lanes that all take it to the same place, hell. And if you fall off it, you still go to hell.
It really is, and that's what we're under.
So when I posted that, people posted back. Here's one of them. When I posted, what are they doing? If they really wanted to do that, they would go to farms. They would go and so this guy says they are everywhere. And even though I have agreed with you on a lot of things, this is not one of them. I voted for this. It could have been done better, but Democrats want to use it as a tactic. They love it when someone dies. How do I know this? Because
Matt Foster's argument the other day, the other month, when he was trolling me that I just found the other night about Trump and that. No, they voted for that. No, they were tricked into it, fuckwit. Just like, I don't know whose side you're on. I do. Because, you know, all the people getting around with their little eagles tattooed on their scalp at the moment. Come on. It's the fucking Scottish Rite.
They don't shed any tears unless it will help them politically. So again, he wants to immediately make it a left-right. It's not a left-right issue, you guys. This is not.
They're together on Israel always, aren't they?
That's right. So they won't waste their time. Oh, and your Code Pink people are frauds, in my opinion. I've called out Code again. You're making this about everything that it isn't.
How about this? How about that?
How about that? But don't talk about. I'm talking about what is the point of what ICE is doing, and why aren't they doing the thing you would expect them to do if they were really right? They are not Democrats. They are Marxist, communists, Antifa, and an assortment of monsters out to destroy the American dream for the rest of us. You talk about people having to disrupt people's lives when they protest. Come live in Minnesota with the insane left then. F this state. F you Democrats, liberals, and left progressives, and every other party worshipping morons that love lawlessness and chaos.
That's your party, idiot.
Yeah, you're right. It's your party, idiot. What have I told you? There's no such thing as left and right unless you adopt it. If you adopt the left and right, you're an idiot. If you align yourself with a left and right, well, you're not very well centred, are you? You're not grounded. You're off the path that's straight and narrow. You're off to one side. You're veering away. Off you go. If you're of the right conservatism, well, that's not grounded centre. That's not in the middle of the path. You're still off the side of the road, aren't you? Arguing over who's got the best side of the road. Don't be sitting on the fence either, because you've still got one foot on and one foot off the road. You need to be slap bang in the middle of it. Ignoring the nature strip.
And by the way, that's the dialectic. He is a victim of the dialectic. That's what commies do that he pretends to hate, but that's why they do it. They get you riled up against the other side. It's called the dialectic.
That's right. So I say you're being played. They're doing this to distract you from them doing the opposite of what they campaigned on. Don't fall for it. They're not going after employed illegal immigrants. They're making a show to pretend that they are. Don't keep falling for it. That's exactly right. So the more you fall into the Republicans are good and the Democrats are bad, or the Democrats are good and the Republican, that's exactly what they want, and you're falling for it. They're now killing people who are using the Second Amendment. They're lying about the people they're killing. They've lied about that guy that he went there to do a maximum damage. He never pulled his gun. He didn't pull.
Yep.
Now, later on in this show, about to go to an ad, they get Whitney Webb on. Before they even do, I'm just going to say now, I still think that she's an asset. She's an architect, not an investigative journalist at all, because she writes these massive big fat books before they ever get her on these platforms, and then she's just done some more shit, right? She's just written another book. She'll be on Glenn Beck next. She'll be on Tucker Carlson next. She'll be on Dan Bongino's show that's now coming back on the air. You watch all the ex-Fox and Friends platforms. She'll even be on Redacted. Yeah, I know. I show a bit of stuff of Redacted. I show a bit of stuff of Jimmy Dore. Kurt, I think he's on the money. Jimmy Dore, maybe he's just offering them a platform for them to hang themselves with a cellophane rope. Possibly. But all these ex-Fox and Friends people, Redacted's the ex-Fox and Friends, Fox News, Murdoch Media, it's like Sky News and GB News. Alright, let's get on with it.
In fact, they took his gun away from him and then they executed him. And then they said he was a terrorist because he showed up to a protest with a gun. Well, as we've shown you over and over, that's exactly what right-wingers do. They show up to state capitals during COVID with long guns to protest lockdowns. Kyle Rittenhouse had a long gun at a protest. It's okay to bring a gun to a protest in America because it's a constitutional protected activity. And now you're saying people who, just because of their constitutional protected activity, they should be killed. So again, you're getting caught up in somehow Donald Trump, who's lied about every promise he made to you. They're not going after the illegal immigrants who are taking your jobs. FYI,
take it like a
they're
Democrat
not doing
bitch.
that, and you're taking it like a Democrat bitch.
You're
Took
no
that
different,
when they said Joe Biden wasn't demented and they went along, you're doing it now too. They didn't get rid of censorship. They installed more censorship. They didn't get rid of DEI. They installed more DEI. They didn't end the wars. They're funding genocides. They're bombing Iran. They're still funding. They're not getting rid of the deficit. They're not doing Doge for the Pentagon. They're exploding the deficit. Exploding it.
So
not only did they not do Doge for the Pentagon, they're going to give Doge an extra $1 trillion without any, because they can't even tell where the money's going now. So this idea that this is they didn't reveal the Epstein list. They're covering up for the pedos. They're covering up for Israel and the Mossad. They are the deep state. So this exactly what, and they're doing this to distract you from all that and to keep us fighting each other. And this guy fell for it 100%. Lagan Sandy, you're falling for it 100%, and you're letting your hatred for lefties make you go along with people breaking the Constitution.
Listen, I understand hatred for lefties. I thought after Barry died, there were no one left. But sooner or later, even an idiot has to dawn on him. The game that's running on him is called an OODA loop. It's Observe, Orient, Decide, Act. It comes from the Air Force. It's fifth generational warfare. They decide the faster you do that, the more likely you win, as long as it's faster than the enemy. So they're just throwing out bullshit really fast. That's their plan, and it works on a majority of idiots.
Come back. Derek Johnson has been talking about OODA loop. Heaps. Rattletrap, the guy that Ricardo Bosi wrote the glossary. Was it the glossary or the last chapter for the book Rattletrap? I'm sure that's the name of the book that Derek Johnson wrote. Co-wrote with Ricardo Bosi. Did he or not? Or did they just put some shit into Grok, into ChatGPT, and to make it, more authentic? Derek Johnson done his bit, apparently based on Law of War Manual and American Constitution, and then Ricardo's done his bit, and look... You see, you watch a proper investigative journalist, and they have to read from notes. So they're checking their stuff, right? But someone who wrote it, that's all in their head. An architect. They don't need notes. Because they invented it. Especially ones that might have, I don't know, a Neuralink in their head. Because it's not here and we don't see it, we think it's far-fetched. We think it's crazy. Oh, Neuralink in their head, a computer chip in their head. But it's not. Like, it is happening. How old is this technology really? Think about Stephen Hawking's. I'm in two minds of that. Either this technology has actually been around for a long, long, long time and they're just pretending that they're just coming out with it now, because Steve Hawking's kind of throws a spanner in that, doesn't it? If he's legit, then this whole Neuralink shit is old as the hills. If not, then Steve Hawking's was a fraud. And it was just a monger in a wheelchair with somebody behind the stage talking into a microphone in a remote control wheelchair. It's one of those. still in. I'll just make sure we're still in view here. Yep. Good enough. Good enough for me.
Yes. But that's why it's so like confused and like clumsy, because they just have to do it fast. It doesn't have to be good.
Right. We'll be right back with more of this story after a brief message from our sponsor. Hey, they can cancel your accounts, they can freeze your cards, they can decide that what you're allowed to buy, to say, Project says. They are also distracting from the fact that they are letting in record numbers of visa applicants right now.
That's exactly right.
Right
So it's a
now.
lie. Yeah.
Trump is letting in 600,000 Chinese students, which they all said before they were spies, and I.
That's our enemy.
That's our enemy, and that all those college students are coming here to steal secrets.
Oh, did you not read that?
Not only that, but they're doing the H-1B visa, bringing in people to take more American jobs because they're cheaper.
They're bringing OnlyFans in on H-1Bs, Jimmy. They're even taking those jobs.
So they are also.
What did I say before about the farming industry, about the agricultural industry here in Australia? Except we're not hopping up and down about it, you know, like, why? We don't have food stamps. We don't have, you know, such a low standard of universal basic income. You know, Centrelink, we even get loans with Centrelink. We even have no interest loans through Nils. We're looked after that well to do nothing that nobody wants to work. I actually get more to stay at home as a full-time single parent than what I got as a qualified tradesman at Ron G's fiberglass. Yeah. Yeah, that's the fact, guys. I'm actually over a fortnight. I'm about $500 a fortnight better off to stay at home. Sorry, guys. I know. I appreciate it, and I do my best to add value to my community. I mow people's lawns that don't have lawnmowers or that work too much to get their lawns mowed, especially the lady across the road. She's a lovely lady. I don't even know her name. Some people say, oh, you're trying to get in the pants. No. It's called saying thank you. All right.
Distracting from the fact they are letting in record numbers of visa applicants, which will continue to depress wages for American workers on behalf of tech companies and multinational corporations. They create a spectacle on one hand to keep people divided and distracted while faithfully executing their uniparty agenda on the other.
The Society of Spectacle is the term, and the term that these globalists have is called the wilderness of the mind. They made that up way back when they made up stupid fucking climate change. And the idea is to keep you wandering around not knowing shit, and it works.
Here a few weeks ago, we had a whole bunch of fresh faces getting around, but the town was packed. And they was getting around in a group. As you know, everyone knows, as I've said a million times, I'm an observer, I'm a people watcher. I watch what goes on around the place. I know nearly every face around this place. I watch the patterns. I watch what days, what people go shopping. Go to Coles on a Sunday evening, afternoon, evening. It's full of all the immigrants. It is. That's the day they go. You go downtown on a Tuesday, which is the day I go downtown, and it's usually pretty dead. But this, we had 3 or 4 days. It started on the weekend and it was still going on the Tuesday, which was a shopping day for me. Nearly a week. Had all these different people getting around. And me being an observer, and I'm not afraid to observe, I'd stand in front of someone and stare at them for a minute. I'd go and talk to them and pretend, don't I know you? Because I'd see them and they'd notice me watching them. Next day, I'm at Upper Burnie in Woolworths, same group of people getting around, oh, there's that guy again. They realised that the observer's observing. And I watched them change partners. I watch them like a bloke and a Sheila, all of a sudden holding hands with a different Sheila. They've swapped partners. Just observing. Potential casting, anybody? What's about to happen in Bernie, I wonder? It's just my theory, but wow.
So, I think this administration is far less concerned with rounding up farm workers who really aren't causing any problems, and is instead targeting known dangerous criminals who are more likely to be found in cities preying upon people.
Like Epstein, you moron. Like Epstein, you absolute idiot.
Oh, so you're telling...
Wait, also, on that... That was after a cruise ship had been and gone again, and they all came in on buses. We had a shit ton of coaches came in and just hung around for a few days. And then the buses left and went quiet. And then a cruise ship comes into town, and it's nowhere near as many people as what there was when there was no cruise ship in town. Why were they bussed in? So obviously all these people flew in. They didn't come in on a boat, they flew in from Launceston on buses and then left town again. I don't know, it just seems dodgy to me. What were a whole bunch of tourists doing here when there was no cruise ship in town?
Telling me they ran on a platform, if you want to come here illegally and take our jobs, but don't assault anyone, then you're welcome in, come on? Is that the pretzel you're bending yourself into to explain this? Yes, that's the pretzel.
Right, I mean, in fairness,
yes, that's the pretzel.
Seattle extremists, shut up. That's some bot.
That's probably a bot.
Like, look at that stupid name and no face on it.
Right. That's probably a bot being funded by ICE to say stuff like that. Yeah, no, they're cool with illegal immigrants taking our jobs if you're just not criminal. Oh, really? Is that what they said? Mm-hmm. That's not what they said. They did the exact opposite.
All the economy hurting immigrants, they kept. Idiots.
That's right.
The only people they're killing are citizens who are legally armed, apparently. You morons.
So that's what, and of course, they're setting up their own Gestapo. Why would they pour in all this money into ICE all of a sudden? Why would they do this? And why would they have? And so they're doing, they're ramping up the surveillance state through Palantir. You're all being.
What happens when the Dems get back in, geniuses?
Right.
When the Democrats come back in, just how Obama set up Trump. Obama set Trump up to be able to do this shit. And Trump's going to set up the next maniac. Because who's really in charge is Larry Ellison, and then he serves God knows what.
What do you think's going on right now here in Australia? We've got the Liberal Democrats and the Liberal Coalition splitting. Dissolves that party. They're out of contention now. We've got the Labor Party purposely fucking up shit. For what? Oh, Pauline Hanson rises to... She hasn't risen fucking anywhere. Everybody else has dropped down below her. Let's not confuse success with throwing the fight. Don King couldn't have done it better. You know, the boxing guy that fucking fixes fights. This is like watching Jake Paul and fucking Mike Tyson. I can see it from a mile away. I saw it as soon as it started. I knew this. Right. All this so-called legislature and shit takes months to draw up, and then it's got to go through the lower house and the upper house and the Senate and all the bullshit before it can be mentioned for people to vote on it and cross the floor in fucking in question time or in the upper house. It's got to go through everything else first. It didn't happen overnight, people. This new gun legislature wasn't drawn up in a matter of days. It was drawn up over months and months and months. The hate speech shit is just a rehash of shit that already exists, but it's running around in your fucking head now, isn't it? Scared to talk your mind. Scared to speak You're so scared to speak, you won't even fucking say what you think on social media anymore, in the echo chamber. You're pussy whipped. They've got ya.
Here's what Whitney Webb said about this ramp up.
I didn't want to believe her.
Yeah, the asset.
And Chris Hedges show. Right.
Yeah,
But Palantir, also works
Kurt's obviously in the same mind as me. I don't trust Whitney Webb.
extensively now in the private sector as well. They're a major AI engine for Wall Street banks, for example, and they have different programs that are sold to different entities, but ultimately they are a massive contractor to essentially every U.S. intelligence agency, and that includes DHS and ICE, which a lot of the critical reporting on Palantir focuses on their contracts with ICE specifically, but all of that is intended to also be used against people that are not illegal immigrants. It's meant to be an entire dragnet of basically pre-crime, and Palantir, in concordance with Poindexter's ambitions, has been a major piloter of pre-crime technology in the United States. I think they began doing that in New Orleans initially. They call it predictive policing is the term that they use, but a lot of other companies have attempted to also get in on this. One of the most notorious being Predpol, that was a partnership, I believe, with UCLA and LAPD or something to that effect, and they're notoriously inaccurate, and they're almost always piloted in low-income minority neighborhoods. In essence, what happens, because the accuracy rate is so low, is that you're creating this pipeline of people basically being sent to prison or, being caught up in crimes that are very petty, but you're just sending police to all these areas in a relatively, discriminatory way. And then
So it's kind of like how they did stop and frisk in New York, which, by the way, stopped and frisked 95% innocent people. So what they're doing is they're making it tech, and they're pointing it at you.
Yeah.
So they're doing it to everybody now.
Stop and frisk in New York, and I remember people being for this, and I couldn't believe it, because I know if I was just being stopped for no reason, I would get real mad about that, because I'm late a lot, and it turns out, okay, but they're catching gun crimes, right? They're catching guns? No, they actually found guns less than before they started doing stop and frisk.
Less.
So what's the point of this? Oh, it was pot busts. Now pot's legal, but that was them draining resources of people with weed. And I saw it on my block all the time. Cops tackling weed dealers.
Okay, ready? Here's what else she says.
In some of these areas where Palantir ended up leaving, another Peter Thiel-backed entity called Carbine also has a predictive policing component, but has been sort of taking over 911 emergency call systems throughout the United States, which is generally at the county level. But this is a company that wasn't just funded by Peter Thiel. It was funded by Jeffrey Epstein and was led for a significant amount of time by Ehud Barak, the former Israeli prime minister, as well, and has sort of expanded outwards. So a lot of Poindexter's ambitions, unfortunately, have been becoming true at a really rapid pace.
So go ahead, turn Kurt up. What's
I
that?
didn't know that part, that it was Epstein and Ehud Barak. That's news.
And so there you go.
What's the name of the company one more time so everybody can hear? Carbine, and they control 911. So if you go, help, I'm trapped with Jeffrey Epstein, and they're going to do something, it's all taken care of.
So stop for a second. Stop getting caught up in the news cycle and think about why would they do it this way? Why would they do it this way? And why aren't they actually going after the people taking Americans' jobs? Well, it's all those reasons we just said in this video. All those reasons. It's definitely to keep you distracted from the things that they are doing and are not doing, and it's to keep us fighting each other. And it's to set the groundwork for this surveillance state that is now pointed at you.
By the way, any influencer that you see who's not saying the right thing on this, I promise you, I'm actually personally shocked, as a pretty cynical guy, at the amount of these people who literally will tell you to your face, I'll say whatever makes me money. I mean, like, a lot of them, Jimmy. A lot of them.
Kurt, you don't have to tell me. I know who they are.
But I mean, some of them will deny it. But I'm just shocked at people that would say it out loud. And I'm like, what? Why would you say that to me?
So let me just So, and if you want to hear my jokes about this, come see me February 20th in Lansing, Michigan. February 21st in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Go to Jimmy Dore.
Oodaloo. What do you think's going on with the police? Do you think the police are in on it? The higher ups are, yeah. All these snotty-nosed little kids running around with their fairy wands and shit, that's just a game to them. It's woo! They get to play with new toys and gadgets and it just keeps them busy. It's oodaloo. Just the constant wheel that just fucking doesn't stop spinning. It's like fucking gerbil on the wheel. They're everywhere. But they're not actually accomplishing anything. This is why the prosecutor and the lawyers are obfuscating the courts. This is why Robbie Cummins gets stuck in 9 years and he's out in 2 years. He just went back to prison last week for another home invasion. How many chances do these people need to get that they're granted through legislature, not law? It's got nothing to do with the courts. It's legislature. It's the humanitarians and all that bullshit. What's that fucking pizza head? Christopher used to be the fucking cop out at Port Surrell. Who's a prosecutor now. You're a crooked motherfucker, mate. You're crooked as they come.